Hi, this is 365801 and this is the mid-year book freakout tag video. So it's this time of year when people like to just take stock of how they're doing with their reading challenges, that kind of thing, and look over some stats. And I might do that for a separate video, so stay tuned if that's something you're interested in. Let me know in the comments down below. I do need to kind of go through my stats and check a few things. But overall, my stats are pretty good, at least for what I know. I've read over 200 and almost 230 books so far this year, which is way more than my challenge, which was only 150. But my challenge of 150 was supposed to include 50 male romance prose books and 100 BL manga. And I think so far I am not up to the 100 BL manga, so I'm kind of letting my side down a bit on that. My male romance though, oh my god, I am like excelling. I've read way too many books. I think I'm gonna have to slow down a bit because even last year when I had my goal of 365, which is supposed to be like one a day, which was perfectly doable if you're doing manga, for example, I kind of struggled at the end of the year and was really stressed about it, and so that's why I only gave myself 150. But in terms of like having read like 230 books already at this point in time in the year, I'm well on my way to getting 365, no bother, no problem, which I think is a bit of an issue. I'm gonna like hit the 365 goal when that's not my goal. My goal was to just read 100 BL manga and 50 male romance. So yeah, in terms of that basic stat, I'm doing really well. But in terms of answering the questions, let's get into it. Now, the reason I didn't do a video like this last year, even though I sat down and wrote out all of the questions, the first question always stumped me, and so I didn't actually make the video. What is the best book I've read so far in 2022? And I really couldn't actually answer just one, so I've made a full complete video of that, and I'll link that up in the corner or down in the description so you can check out all of the different ones that I thought about, and there are quite a few. In terms of what I've been reading, I think my ultimate best is just a genre in itself, and that is sports male romance. I have been so enamored with ice hockey male romance this year so far. It's ridiculous. So I think I'm just like, best book is the whole genre of ice hockey male romance. It's too good. It's too good. Now, the second question is, what is the best sequel I have read in 2022? And I'm going to go with Here's to Us, which is a YA kind of male romance by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, which is the sequel to What If It's Us? What If It's Us? I read, and then I left myself for a week, and then I went and read Here's to Us. And I think it was really good that I only gave myself a week because, oh my god, I cannot imagine waiting 4 years for this next book to come out. It came out, I think, either the end of last year or the beginning of this year, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much more than the first book. I think I only gave the first one, What If It's Us, like a 3.75, but Here's to Us, I think it's like a 4.5, 4.75, maybe even a 5. I really enjoyed it. It made the story so much better. You needed it. I need closure. I need happily ever after. I need that. I need that in my life. I don't want to be left hanging. Who wants to be left hanging? And for 4 years, so for the die-hard fans out there who read it 4 years ago and have waited, I salute you. Oh my god. I cannot imagine being like, that's it for 4 years. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Here's to Us. The next question is, what new release have I not read yet? And I think I'm going to go with something that I purchased way back in January, and that is Something Fabulous by Alexis Hall. Now, I hadn't read anything by Alexis Hall when I purchased this. I just saw it was two dapper gentlemen on the front cover, and that if I pre-ordered it, I got it for like a special price of 99p or £1.50 or something like that. And I thought, great, I'll do that. It's Alexis Hall. Loads of people love Alexis Hall. Boy from Material, super popular. I'd been recommended For Real, so I have a few things that are on my radar, but I haven't actually read it yet. What I did read instead was Boyfriend Material, even though I also have For Real to read on my TBR as part of my 12 and 12. Thanks, Dylan, for the recommendation, Dynamic Dylan. And I haven't read it yet, but I have read Boyfriend Material, and I didn't think I was going to like it, and I chuffing loved it. So I think I'm gonna like Something Fabulous. I think I'm gonna enjoy it. And it's still there, it's still on my Kindle, and I still need to read it. Damn. Now, talking about Alexis Hall, my most anticipated for the second half of 2022. Ooh, this is kind of hard. I do think Husband Material is something I'm super, super looking forward to, even though I didn't think I was going to. It really is. Something else I'm looking forward to is My Love Mix-Up Volume 4. I don't have anything pre-ordered BL-wise. I don't have anything pre-ordered, but I have My Love Mix-Up Volume 4 pre-ordered. Why is that? Because I'm super looking forward to it. I'm loving that series. The shoujo manga is just great. It's just speaking to me on so many levels. I'm just loving it. I'm loving it. And so I'm really looking forward to it. But my number one, most anticipated for the second half of 2022, is gonna have to be Raven by Piper Scott and Virginia Kelly, because if you've watched my video from, what is it, the end of year tag, I was so convinced that Raven was going to come out at the end of January. It was like my most anticipated was supposed to come out the 22nd of January. Raven, the final book, book 8 in the Forbidden Desires series, and it's not out. So I think the Amazon date was just like a placeholder. Piper Scott has been really nice on Instagram and said that she was very happy with me being so excited about it. So I know that they're working on it, the two authors. I know that they're trying to get it perfect, and I will wait. I will wait patiently. I will tap my foot maybe, but I will wait patiently for it because, oh my god, I want to read that book so, so bad. But I want it to be great, and so I will wait. And I don't think I've felt this way for a long, long time. The anticipation of a book coming out, I haven't felt this. So I'm really, really excited about waiting for Raven. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic. I'm going to have to do a reading vlog just because I'm going to be squeeing 100% all the way through. The next question is biggest surprise, and my biggest surprise was Check Please as a graphic novel. Oh my goodness, was that super cute? It had everything. It had ice hockey and male romance. It had laughs. It had great characters. It had tender moments. It had smexy moments, but in a sort of fade to black kind of way, but still very mature. It had baking. Oh, pies and scones and jokes. Oh, it had everything. It had everything. It's super, super cute. And I loved it. So Check Please was a really, really good buy. I'm so glad I read it. It's just super, super cute. I highly, highly recommend you go out and get a copy if you haven't already yet. Now the next question is, what is my biggest disappointment from 2022 so far? Ooh, I would have to say generally my manga reading. I've not had great manga reading. April was brilliant. I did 30 and 30 and I did a really good like solid reading month, but overall my manga reading's not been great. But my biggest disappointment is probably Power Plays and Straight A's, because everyone said Eden Finley and Saxon James, they're so good, they're so good. And I read it, but I read it through Audible, and it was kind of the wrong choice. And I was surprised because everyone went on about how great this whole series was. And I was like, this is shit. And I hate this guy who's doing the voice because he's so goddamn American. Ugh, it's so frustrating. And his cadence was all wrong. He kept speaking way too fast. He was getting the beats of the fluency completely like un-English. It was just, which I know was not English, but it was just like did not feel natural at all. Anyway, I won't go into who it is. One of the guys was fine, one of the guys was not. And I actually like DNF'd it in terms of the Audible version and just read the rest of it in the book. Like I listened to quite a substantial amount and hated it. And I was like, why is this a good series? And I totally skipped over book 2 and decided to give book 3 a go because there was asexual rep, and I thought I would give that a go because everyone had said. And I really it turned the whole series around. I went back and I read book 2. Book 2 is phenomenal. It is the best. And I think if I gave book 1 a go now, but not listening to the Audible version and instead just reading it, it would probably be okay. And going on to Goodreads and being able to see that actually it's everyone's least favorite book in the series. It's like, don't read book 1. Don't. Just go straight into book 2. But you kind of need book 1 to get to know all the characters. So yeah, don't go into book 1, Power Plays and Straight A's, with high expectations. I know if you like jock and nerd stories, then that might be your bag. But Power Plays and Straight A's is not it for me. The rest of the series though, and then of course the Puck Boy series is totally it. And also, what was it, Roommate Arrangement? And they mentioned them in there as well. I'm like, I love it. And then the Fake Boyfriend series by Eve, I like, love it. So it opened all these doors to all of these fantastic stories, but the actual first story almost made me drop them completely. So yeah, that was probably the worst one. It's a big disappointment. So the next question is fave new author, either debut or new to you. When it comes to debut, I think there's quite a few debut authors that I've read. But the one who did Icebreaker, probably a really good one for YA. But I'm probably going to go with like Serena Bowen. I think, or Lily Mayne. Oh, this one's a tricky one. Yeah, it's kind of tricky to choose the new Fave New Author. We'll see. I still have more to read from them. So the next question is the new Fictional Crush. Well now. As you all know, I'm a huge fan of Love is an Illusion, and Fargo has made a new series based in the same universe, called Love is an Illusion, The Queen, which you can access through Listen, which I have been doing every 10 days since it started. And it follows Do Gyum, is that how I pronounce her name? Do Gyum's many sexual partners and her escapades in terms of finding herself an Omega that she likes. Do Gyum is an alpha, but she's a female alpha, and so that very first episode was eye-opening, and I didn't know how to feel about it, but I kind of felt some sort of way. So yeah, I think my crush is Do Gyum. Basically from the first episode, I was like, oh my goodness, this is what we're having, and I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, maybe a bit of a surprise, but I do. If you liked Love is an Illusion, you got to be checking it out. The Queen, you've got to be checking it out. Oof. Fan myself in the corner. It's interesting, it's entertaining, and of course there's like cameo appearances from Buell, so what's not to love? The next question is favorite new character, and it's probably Eric Bittle from Check Please, because he is super cute and I love him and he's a cinnamon roll. But in terms of couple, it's gonna be Wesme from Him, Us, and Epic. As a couple, they're my favorite characters. I love them together. Together, they are my favorite. They're just great. If you haven't read Him, Us, and Epic yet, what do you do with your life? It's just so good. So once again, my life is taken over by ice hockey female romance. Terrible. Now, when it comes to the next question, book that made me cry, I have two answers. One is, again, an ice hockey male romance. This is the Serena Bowen book, The Understatement of the Year. I listened to this through Audible. It was available free as part of their Plus catalogue. And Oh my god, I just think it's a fantastic book. It's so, so good. It's about two guys who unfortunately experience something when they're younger, and it's harrowing and it's terrible when they get caught together in a slightly compromising position, but not massively, and one of them gets beaten up quite badly, and then them getting back together, or at least meeting again in the present, and having to deal with the past. And it's just so difficult, and I just loved it so much, and I think I need to reread it. It's so good. The other thing that made me cry loads was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I think makes everyone cry. The last quarter of that book is just crying. It's just straight tears falling the whole time. So, yeah, two very good books. I highly recommend both of them. In terms of the manga that made me cry, I think I'd have to say Given for sure. It's been not many that have made me cry, most have made me angry this year. But Given, definitely the full, complete series so far, volumes 1 through 6. It's quite emotional as well, for obvious reasons, if you know. So, yeah, Given definitely made me shed a few tears too. Now, a book that made me happy, loads have made me happy. I don't know why, loads. But Epic, from Him, Us, and Epic. Epic made me so, so happy because you've read him, you've read Us, and then you get this lovely little novella where JV just gets to live out his dream. And then, of course, I watched some YouTube videos because that was me down a rabbit hole of recently of a guy who I think he's in his 30s, and he was like the third reserve goalie, and he was there in the audience, and he got called up to cover the goal, and of course saved all these shots on goal and ended up living his dream. And it was like an actual true story, and I thought, is that based on Epic? But actually I think it happened after Epic was published, so it's like life imitating art, imitating life. It's just such a great thing. So Epic just made me so happy. And I just giggled all the way through it. Now, the next question is, what is the most beautiful book that you have in your collection for 2022? And I have one that's a manga. That is Only the Flower Knows, Volume 1 by Rihito Takarai. Rihito Takarai is just such a good artist, and I just love this front cover. It's all green and lovely, and it just has such an emotional kind of effect on me because I've wanted this for so long, and to actually have a physical copy made me so happy. But then I read it and it's like, oh, I love this so much, and her artwork just is so, so pretty. But in terms of actual physical copies of books, I think I would have to go with my hardback copies of Wayward Son and Any Way the Wind Blows, because if you take the dust jacket off, the actual books themselves are really, really pretty underneath. I don't have Carry On yet, and I need to get a hardback copy of Carry On so that I've got the full set. So yeah, that's probably the prettiest books I've got. So this next question is, what do I need to read by the end of the year? Obviously the things I'm looking forward to, such as Husband Material and Raven. Oh my goodness, so excited. But also my full physical TBR. Oh my god. I've just been going through it all. So look forward to some videos, if they're not out already, of me going through my full physical collection here and actually creating a physical TBR. And oh my god, it's massive. It's hundreds and hundreds. So what do I need to read? Or what do I want to read? I want to read Hitorejime. I do want to. I need to read Sweet Blood. I need to read that at some point. I also need to continue on with the Monstrous series by Lily Mayne. I've read the first 2 books. There's some extras, and I kind of want to go onto her website and read them in the right order. And she said on one of her Instagram Q&As that she's going to sit down and actually create a reading order. So I think I might wait for her to do that. I have just read, what is it, Forgotten Vows. which was the second book in her folk series, and her the first book was just cottagecore porn. It was brilliant, but it was also awful, and that gave me the biggest book hangover of 2022 so far. I think the second one is reading the little snippet from Husband Material. I got the first 5 chapters from NetGalley, and now I'm like, where's the rest of this book? I've started. So yeah, I have physical TBRs, I have lots of manga, I have loads and loads of books that I want to read from lots of different authors. So many that I'm just excited. I'm excited about what's to come for the rest of 2022. So yeah, what are my goals for the rest of 2022? Well, I have 12 and 12 to finish. So there's a few things like For Real by Alexis Hall, Dynamic Dylan had recommended, and there's a few other recommendations like False Memories, that's a reread by Isaku Natsume, and a few other like webcomics and things like that other people have recommended. There's another one like Eternal Night or something that Catban Books has recommended. So there's definitely a few things, but in terms of my goals, my goal is to read 100 BL manga, and I haven't done that yet, so I really need to. I don't think I need to read too much more. I think my goal for the rest of the year is actually to slow down and try and focus on things outside of reading. I've read too much, and I need to actually sit down and think about what I'm reading and be more mindful about it. So that's my goal for the rest of the year, is to actually not read as much. But yeah, I would just like to say thanks to all the people who have been following me so far and engaging with me in terms of my YouTube channel or on Instagram or on Twitter. I've especially enjoyed being part of Instagram since last September, and there's been a few male romance Instagrammers who have been giving me lots of recommendations, and I've been really happy and excited to pick up some books that way as well. I love getting recommendations and love finding new books to love, and I think that's where I found the understatement of the year, and that's probably the one that has been really impactful for me. So I'm really happy about getting some recommendations. So if you have any, please let me know in the comments down below. Is there anything that you think, wow, you really need to read this? I almost put down biggest disappointment was All for the Game trilogy, but I think the less said about that, the better. So yeah, maybe some happily ever afters, minus the trauma porn. That would be good in terms of recommendations. But yeah, if you have any recommendations you think I would like, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, share, all that good stuff. I'm 365801, and this has been the mid-year book freakout tag. So thanks for coming to the end of this video. Take care of yourselves. I will see you in the next video. Bye!